love drunk prohibition, but thinking that you might be my new addiction. You can call it 2020 kind of you, 'cause we can quarantine just me and you.
Been a while since the Ready to die.
Is it go time?
It's go time.
Go time.
Goat time, actually. It's goat time.
Goat time.
G-O-A-T. You know what
G-O-A-T
the goat
time.
is, actually? And I can say this. It's Flight Fins has the goat.
Dude,
I
that
have
tire
seen
looks so
pictures
fucking
of this
cool.
tire.
Yeah, right? All right, here, just to get so I get a little clarification where we're sitting at. I'm on this camera, right? And
Yep,
you two
yep.
are on that camera.
Yep.
So,
I have to share
Yup.
a camera with Christian?
You do.
and
Yeah.
then you guys get to look at Taylor.
Wait, I have an
But you
idea.
have
And then
a-
I'm
yeah.
here.
Beautiful.
But you've got. You have
Now,
a-
hey,
Very
just so you
nice.
guys know,
Yeah.
don't get distracted by the display there. Just look at the chats as much as possible. That's
Can
why
we
I threw this
full
window
screen
out.
the chat?
You should be able to. You should be able to.
Dude,
full
I,
screen the chat.
I like that that we all decided to wear hoods today after you did it
We're hood
on the
guys.
warmest day
It's
so far.
beautiful.
Of the
Yeah, I
winter.
know. It's wonderful.
Taylor, real quick, can I get a little more in my cans? I should be 3, like 1 notch up. That'd be amazing.
Checkity check 1 2
check
1 2
1,
1
2.
2 1 2. Remember, you're also going through now.
Yeah, I know, but I just needed a little more. So.
or no, he's on 3. He's on 3.
Oh,
Couple
so I
minutes
should be
away.
on check 1 2 1 4 maybe. I'm on 4, 3, 4.
Oh.
Check. Up, down. Yeah, that's good.
Just in case.
That's
Okay,
fine.
thank
Whatever
you for
that
telling me
is.
that now.
Okay.
I like it.
Just in
Yo,
case.
people checking out in the chat. Look at this. So today we are joined by a legend of his time,
Me?
Dwayne. Actually,
Dwayne.
Dwayne.
Oh.
Here, this is you for Dwayne.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, Dwayne.
Dwayne came in today. Also, this guy named Josh Haley came in joined us today.
My name. How we doing,
Josh,
everybody?
what's going on, man?
Look at this.
Welcome
that sweet
to
shit.
welcome to the
Oh, I got it. I
Alright,
got
there
it.
you go.
I'm just showing it.
Beautiful. Welcome to the stream, man. So check it out. A weekly run out. This is going to be a little more of a special episode because we've got Josh Haley hanging out with us. We've got Christian hanging out for the second time on the weekly stream. And then, of course, me and Taylor. And I think today we're going to talk about an elephant in the room.
Which one?
The one that smells like fish.
Oh.
Fair intro.
Fair intro. Because the CPSC won't let me be or let me be me, so let me see.
Okay.
They try to shut me down on one-wheeling, but it feels so empty without Josh Haley.
That's what I've heard.
So let's talk a little bit about this. This is like an ever-evolving thing for the past 8 days, right?
Yeah, it's been a busy week.
Busy week, yeah, to say the least. Now, you went on and talked with Louis Rossman.
I
right,
did.
Right? So we talked a little bit about this.
Wait, again?
Yeah.
Okay.
So went back
Oh,
to
I missed it.
because they were talking about.
It's not a big deal. It was a phone call.
It was a phone call. Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't see your face at all. I just saw Louis sitting in his
He
chair.
he sent me a text at like 9 at night. He's like, "Hey, you want to be on for a segment I'm doing on the CPSC?" I'm like, "Yeah, I can. When do you want to do?" It's like 11 o'clock at night. Sure.
Like, yeah, I'm trying to be in bed right now, but yeah. So the CPSC obviously issued this thing. Now we were literally in the stream last week, and Float Life comes in and they're like, "Did you see the news the CPSC just put out?" And we're like, "No."
I don't even know what the
who's
CPSC is.
CPSC?
Yeah.
What the fuck is this about? And so obviously then we see this beautiful letter that comes across, and I kind of want to just hear your initial impressions about that, Josh.
So I learned about it from Nico, where I learned all my one wheel news. Like many people, I was not happy with what I heard, and it's factually not correct, right? They're going after something that is not a fault of the product. They're going after something that's due to the laws of physics, right? So they're telling people that, I mean, we can pull it up and read through it if we want to, but the device is dangerous because you can lean over too far and overpower it, right? And if that's a fault of the one wheel, then
It's also a fault
CPSC
of chairs.
right,
and,
it's a fault
and-
of
yeah.
chairs. It's a fault of motorcycles, EUCs, bicycles, anything you balance on
Yeah.
should be taken off the market now simply because it's unsafe. And that doesn't match up with what I think is correct.
Why do you think they're doing this? I feel like there's a deeper motive or something. Like somebody pissed off somebody at the CPSC, and
I very much agree. So we're speculating at this point. None of this is known. But the first word on that letter, we can actually pull it up here.
yeah, let's pull up this article and read it into a
Or
little
can we
bit.
pull it up on the TV, Taylor?
Yeah, here, hold on. Actually, I'll pull it up.
Or we're not
Let's
passing
come up
around
in
a
here.
phone.
Beautiful.
That's beautiful. Anyone on the stream, I want to make sure I'm looking into the comments as well as we're up here. Hey, Nick Popa, the man, Float Wizard, is hanging out with us. What's poppin'? Good to see you, bro. Road Rash Cash is up here. He was our weekly Runout King. So if you've been in the streams before, we do the weekly giveaways where we drink the sauce. And
We don't drink the sauce.
We don't.
the armadillo
What
sauce.
sauce?
Look
drinking
me,
Tyrosine
look me
today?
in my eyes. Look me in my eyes, chat. Do not drink the motherfucking sauce.
So it kind of became this thing.
Don't get lost in that sauce.
Yeah, it became this
There you
thing. Just became this joke because every time I'd have the bottle out here, it looks.
It does look quite delicious.
Like it looks
I
like a
will
strawberry
admit.
daiquiri, you know. And I'm like, I just want to drink the sauce. And
Corey's
then,
very good at making his products look tasty.
Very appetizing,
unfortunately,
yeah.
he doesn't. You know what's funny?
Billy!
He doesn't have any warnings. I'm looking through his bottle. I'm like, is there actually a warning that says don't drink this?
Maybe
So,
don't say
you know,
that out loud.
Hey, Corey, you should fix your labels.
The CPSC's got nasty, right?
All right, let me pull up this letter here. CPSC One Wheel.
I'm also curious why he flavors it.
It's like strawberry lube, right?
Oh,
I don't know.
All right, let me make sure I can see the chat up in here because I saw that Billy popped up in the chat as well.
Billy says sauce drank.
Sauce drink. It's all
Sir!
about it. All right, so the screen over here says CPSC warns consumers to stop using one-wheel self-balancing electric skateboards due to ejection hazard. So ejection, man. It's not retention, it's ejection.
I have a problem with this that I have with every other one-wheel statement, in that it is extremely vague and there's no specifics. So they're making a very big claim here that you shouldn't ride these things because they're safe, but they're not really telling you why.
What is an ejection hazard?
It's anyone's guess, right? It's not defined anywhere in the document, is it?
I don't think it is. So at least 4 deaths and multiple injuries reported. So we go through and then we start reading this letter. I mean, we could break this down like piece by piece here, but so U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission, CPSC, is warning consumers about the risk of death and serious injury with Future Motion's one-wheel self-balancing electric skateboards. They urge us to immediately stop using all one-wheel models. And, you know, I agree. Just make sure you send all of your models to 43 West Main Street, Ashland, Ohio. Address it to the Pushback Army.
We'll dispose
have
of it for you.
Yeah, we have a
We'll make sure
recycling
that it's
problem.
safe.
I'll
and if it's not,
definitely
we'll get rid of it.
take
Yeah,
care
if
of
we
it
find
for
any
you.
ejection hazards,
Yeah, we'll check
fix
it. We'll make sure if there's any ejection hazard, which I'm sure they're probably.
If there's a hazard, we will find it.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
We've been working on it for a long time.
Yep. Bullshit. That's what this is. So I don't know how else to say it. I guess this letter just seems very. It's an attack. Like it seems like it was written intentionally to cause a ruckus, and they know that they're like overstating.
Yes,
Like
it's
they're-
very much on the offense. At least that's the impression I got from it.
Yeah, like what do you guys think Future Motion is not complying with here? Like what did they not agree to? Like I think something may have stemmed with obviously like the foot pad recall, right?
Right.
We had the foot pad recall, and this is something that they worked with them for a time being. And now, do you think that the CPSC was trying to get them to recall GTs all in,
Oh, absolutely.
but then they wouldn't comply, and now they're like, fine, recall all of your
So
products.
if we want to take a step back here,
Yeah.
the mere existence of this letter explains a lot of what FM has been doing for the past couple months, right? The upload for, like, here's how pushback works, or, like, the
Yeah.
GT footpad
3
recall.
days before
Yeah,
that,
this
yeah,
all
yeah.
begins to make sense now that there's a government agency saying don't use these boards. So it's safe to assume that there's been a lot of interaction between the two for at least a good amount of time. And a lot of this has been sparked by the GT, right? There's been an increased number of concerns regarding one wheel since that board came out.
They handled it pretty poorly. Future Motion, I mean. So
Yes.
it makes sense, if somebody starts barking up a tree, and Future Motion, okay, you know how I feel about Future Motion and their products, but if you're going to be a dick to the people who love you, what are you going to do to the people that don't like you?
Right. Again, taking a step back, this whole situation should be a surprise to absolutely nobody, right? FM has been acting this way since they started in 2014. And with each successive release and modification of the product, less and less features and value has been delivered to the user, and profit margins have been increasing on the product.
Didn't we just close out on a case that they were trying to go after JW batteries on, kind of doing the same
I don't know about
stuff?
close out. I know
Well, I
that's
got-
still ongoing.
Okay, all right. So are they still going after JW effectively?
They are both still involved in a legal process, to what I understand.
Okay. So I don't know.
Nico said, Josh, what the fuck you doing here?
Yo, Nico Ailman up in the chat. Aleman.
Aleman.
Nico Aleman. Nick Pope. Billy Shredder. Thank you for our community of our what's our listener count today?
We are at 8 right now.
Our 8s.
10. Oh,
I
it says
see
10 on the
9.
bottom.
Tens. We're finally at tens of
Tens.
listeners.
Nope.
We're on 10.
Christian, open up your phone and we could be at 11.
See, Nico, if you would
You
check
still
your
need
Snapchats
20 to be
early,
at
you would
tens
know
of
that I'm here.
listeners.
Nico, I just opened your snap and saw you were at the studio and ran to the stream.
That's how I roll.
That's
Wild
cool,
card.
dog. You don't just have to hop in normally when it's just us. That's I'm
Nico
playing.
Aleman, come on the show with us, man. Just come chat. The Flow Life was going to come in today. They had some scheduling issues or something happening because we were.
Well, that's tragic.
We were going to talk about this whole thing.
I
But
was looking
also,
forward to
did you
that.
see? Did you see Jeff had a conversation with it was a lawyer or something?
Yeah.
like that?
Robert,
I watched
yes,
that, yeah.
that is one of the most helpful pieces of content that could be added to this situation. Right?
I-
Getting an experienced
dude,
perspective on
Completely agree. I think that was the smartest thing.
this. As soon as I watched
and it
that, I
seemed like a
started
perfect
texting
dude,
Jeff. I'm like,
yeah.
dude, this was the perfect move to make right now because
Dude, loved it.
this is a niche space and word travels fast, right? And there's not always validation to what is being said is correct. So bringing in somebody who knows their stuff and is able to put an experienced perspective to what we're all going through is very, very helpful.
And to ask the questions like, what does that mean for users?
Right.
Like for people who already own it. I thought that was obviously a great question, but like just being like, dude, it's still like a free world.
Right.
You can do whatever the fuck you want with what you
Correct.
own. You know what I mean? But like
I want to see more of what
Yeah.
Robert has to say on stuff in this space.
that was cool.
If I can interject real quick, the one thing I did love about all of this is immediately, I'm talking like the next day, people were posting like, come and take it, basically, is what they were saying about the one wheel. And I thought that was
Well,
kind of rad.
Yeah, I would say at this rate,
also a
it's
little
so interesting
uninformed.
for us because we're all like, here's what I'm really curious. There was 4,800 letters written or whatever in that day, right? I want to know the percentage in that letter that actually something about Future Motion as a company was mentioned, or specifically the word one wheel was
So
mentioned.
that's actually a very good point to bring up here. FM has put a ton of money into separating the word Future Motion from the word One Wheel, right? Future Motion is the company, One Wheel is the product. This is why when you go to Santa Cruz, you don't see one wheel on the face of the building, you see Future Motion. So this CPSC situation, if you notice, identifies One Wheel as the problem, not Future Motion. So if we want to get into that conversation of keeping those things separate as the manufacturer wants to do, we can do that because the One Wheel is a fantastic product. And yes, it has certain hazards related to it. But in my opinion, the hazards are more on Future Motion side of things and how they decide to handle the product One Wheel.
Yeah, I mean, well, let's. So you've got a Fokker board now, right?
I have a few.
You got a few, right? So you're starting to dive into this open source level of like making a board work the way you want it to work, right?
When I am not fixing FM hardware. That is what I'm doing.
So with this, we can say that like, all right, an open source board that gives us the information that we need and can process, is it safer?
In what way?
Ejection hazards.
So it is going to inherently be a safer device if you understand it to a deeper level, right? So part of the problem I've always had with FM as opposed to other PEV manufacturers is anything internal to the one wheel product is a magic box. You don't know what's in there because the manufacturer won't tell you. Right. You have to go in there and have the wherewithal and the determination to figure things out yourself because the manufacturer won't provide information as to where if you have like an EUC or something, you can go out and buy a main board, toss that in, buy a motor controller, buy a battery.
Right.
You can't do it with the one wheel. So for the people who choose to dig into the hardware and figure things out for themselves, Vesk is an excellent platform because you have a significantly wider like amount of control over the product, right? But you have to have that persistence and determination to learn it yourself. The thing I tell, because I have people come to me and say like, hey, I want to build a Vesk. I've never done anything like this before. Is this a good idea? At the current point, I say no, right?
Right.
One wheel is a product. Vesk is a project. So don't buy it, put it in there, and expect it to work out the box. You're going to have to tweak it just because that's how the state of the project is right now.
It's the difference between building your own computer
And buying a MacBook.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
One's locked
That's
down.
actually a
it
very
works
apt
half time,
description.
and like,
This
yeah.
is exactly why. Like, I have a Fokker, little Fokker, ready to be installed, but I'm like, it's like if I had the parts for a PC ready to build, I'm like, I literally don't have the time to invest into it right now.
And that investment right now is steep. There is a lot to learn.
I'm on the other hand very excited to make time to do that.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like that's part of like
That's part of the fun for some people.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think there's like in this area with like Whalecat and Ori and those guys and just like all the other people around here who are pumped about the Fokker boards, like we're all excited like to just what's your tune like? What's it like what's it and like learning P values and shit. Like what does this actually affect? That's cool.
That's the same excitement. Like I'm very stoked for it when I get through the season of other crap.
Dude,
that we
for
have to
sure.
run. Like
For sure.
There's life, there's business. It's like I can imagine for you, like working on boards, you're like, fuck, like how do I get the time to learn about this?
Yeah, the last thing I want to do at the end of the day is dig into wiring up a vest and playing with firmware when all I've been doing is fixing BMSs all day.
Yeah.
Right. So it's something I want to do. It's very fun to think about having on the to-do list. But it doesn't fit into my schedule currently with all the other stuff I have going on.
So I want to look at the comments here real quick, and then so riding with Mao, I think it's Mao. All right. He said, yeah, Jeff's convo was super interesting and it left me more nervous about this than I previously was. Yeah, I think to some extent. Hey, watch your wires there. 5G is getting into the wires and just going.
Oh,
You're gonna, yeah, like you have to pull them straight away.
Interesting.
So yeah, I loved watching Jeff's video. That was extremely extremely beneficial in this legal world. But it also seems like this is kind of an uncharted territory where we really don't know what that like. All these letters go to CPSC. Then what? Like.
Right, and then adding on to that, Jake Leary put out a video too. That's also extremely helpful. Right, it takes the complicated bullshit that's going on and makes it simple and easy to understand for the average writer.
Right. So for anything like, and again, a call to action for everybody, like go fill out that survey monkey, like make sure you have to make your voice heard in this kind of scenario. Like Big Brother can't step in.
So it's important to understand that the CPSC is a government organization and they're going to do what the easiest thing for them is. And rather than spend the time to figure out, okay, here's the V1, the XR, the Plus, the Pine X, the GT, which one of these is unsafe and how versus ban them all. We don't want to deal with it. They have no need to keep these things around. It's up to us to make that perspective known of why these things are important, why they're safe, and why they should stay around.
I absolutely agree with everything you just said, but I also want to say that for the record, that agency is really important.
Oh, absolutely.
And so they're just making a mistake right now. I just want to make sure that everybody knows like where we stand on that. Like that is an extremely important agency. They're just not doing their work well.
I don't know
right
if,
now.
and again, like this is speculation. My mind says something that's kind of like this. Like we all know Future Motion's business practices, the way that they do things, the way that they've treated their customers, and probably the same kind of interactions they were having with the CPSC. This letter coming out might have been CPSC's attempt at the greater good of like, this is the only way we're going to like get this conversation started.
I agree with that.
Do you know what I mean?
So FM has been a company that has pushed around whoever else they can.
Right.
And they have gotten away with it every step of the way, right?
At some point, when you shit in your bed, you still have to sleep in it.
Yes, it's a very apt description. So FM has found somebody they can't push around, and they are now being pushed around, and I don't think they like that. So, they did the recall on the front foot pad, not the full board, for whatever reasons that caused that to happen. And if you notice now, there's flat foot pads for the GT.
Yeah.
I don't find that to be a coincidence.
So all of a sudden, and then 3 days before the announcement, they put the scientific pushback video out.
Yeah, and I think I just have so many feelings about this because at the end of the day, they're still just people, right? Like trying to do. I mean, okay, like your company and leadership and attitude and all that stuff, but at the end of the day, it's like still, it's hard for me to come down too hard on anybody specifically. But I will say, fuck around and find out.
Right. Nobody's an all-knowing power in this space, right? Nobody has infinite knowledge.
And I think too, like I get with the stuff you were talking about earlier, where like the manufacturer does not give you access to the technology and stuff. Like I get protecting your IP, I really do. Like people ripping each other off and like people from other countries like undercutting your prices, stealing your technology. Like I totally understand that, and from what I understand, it's quite beautiful the way they've been able to tune that software. But at the end of the day, I have to measure my own screws to find out what you used. You know what I mean? Like where it's like, why is that Why can't I don't know.
Yeah.
Or it's just all
Well, I
the
think-
screws start changing to what's not in the average toolbox.
Yeah,
for
or like-
seemingly no
like-
reason.
Yeah, and then the like the hub size and shit, where it's like,
Don't get me started.
I know, right? But you're like, dude, okay, so these are dick moves, like
Intentionally. So.
intentionally dick moves. Yeah,
They're trying
and
to keep,
so-
and it's so interesting. Like they're trying to control this thing that they've created. Ultimately, so I guess that piece of like you invented this thing, you want to keep all the rights around it. But the thing that they need to get any attention off of them or make the sport thrive is competition. I've said this over and over and over and over and over again. In any type of sport or any type of thing, like you need competition to thrive. That's how you
Right.
get better. That's how you make new things. And having all these fucking patents all over everything and like stifling the competition, for one, like sure, does all the business go to you guys? Yeah, but you're not solving the problems at hand.
Right.
And all the attention goes back to you when something goes wrong. Like
both
Yeah.
positive and negative.
right.
Right.
It's the
Yeah.
president of the
Yeah.
United States. When something's going bad, we
Yes.
say,
Let's get very political.
let's go Brandon, right? Like it's just what happens because all the attention
the
is on,
figurehead.
on one person.
Right.
You're the figurehead. So Future Motion being that top of the line right there, all attention's going to them, bad or good. Like you made the thing, right?
Right.
So I don't know how to like how do we as a community stand for our rights as riders, right? Let Us Ride movement. Like we're not stopping, we're not going anywhere. We're gonna do our thing, but how do we stand for that right while also not just letting future
I mean,
motion
to be
have
fair
their way?
though, we're not excuse me, our rights are not in jeopardy to be able to ride. It's FM's right to produce boards, right? So
Yeah, it's-
so I feel like
You can choose not to ride or to ride something else.
Yeah.
Right. That's always an option.
So I think it'd be careful to make this a rights thing, because I have
Well,
the right to ride no matter what I
you
want,
do
whenever I
for
want.
now
and I-
until
I think the scare is that at some point you won't.
yeah, the
and that's
problem
what
is
they're
this
worried
news
about.
headlines, things like this negativity in this press puts the wrong ear. So when our trail system, all of a sudden that we've created this relationship with people starts to get taken away because they think that one wheels are this dangerous ejection hazard machine.
Yeah.
Now I'm not allowed on my trails. Now if a cop sees me on the road, I've now got to it's,
Yeah.
it's creating that perception.
I'm going to back this up again here. Legislation is always going to follow what's going on in the real world, right? And PEVs are a relatively new industry. They didn't exist a number of years ago, and now there's tens of hundreds of thousands of them. And at its core, it's a battery that spins a BLDC motor with speed controller. One wheel is one type of those devices. So let's just scope this in. This is one type of a PEV where a government entity said, don't ride it. It's not banned. It's not restricted from sale. You can still buy it. But it does set a dangerous precedent that a government agency can come into, a component of this industry and just make it disappear.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think you're right, and I think if they specifically were targeting like don't ride this until X, or don't sell
Right.
this with X defect,
Right.
to use their words, I think.
So
But, that's like, obviously this is a bigger deal when they're like, just like you just said, if you're gonna say don't make this product anymore, and none of the ones in the history of your company that worked fine, basically, like that's a big deal. I
Right.
agree. I absolutely
if
agree.
you're going to make such a big statement as to a component of this whole industry now just no longer has permission to exist, the bare minimum, my opinion here is that you need to tell us in detail why.
Yeah.
Right? Why is this unsafe as compared to all these other things that have the flaws that you've identified in that letter?
Yeah.
Right? Why?
Yeah.
Is it because you can't get along with the manufacturer? Is it because there's a physical defect? What is it?
And
we
why
need
did
to know
you?
that thing.
Why is this bombastic statement like the way that you go about this? It just is so funny to think of it, or to be able to sense. We all sense that this is a personal thing, like these people
because
are pissed at each
we've
other.
been trained to think that
Yeah,
with every interaction we've had with this company.
That's true, and honestly, like if I had an axe to grind, everybody keeps using that phrase. Why wouldn't I use my platform to do it? You know what I mean? Like, so I'm not saying that this guy's a. Did we ever figure out if I can say cunt on this show?
Yeah, say whatever you want.
I give you permission, Christian.
But seriously, like, is this guy a cunt, or is Future Motion a cunt, and this guy's using his platform to react? You know what I mean? Unfortunately, this dude, if he's feeling hurt, or this organization is feeling upset with Future Motion's whatever, unfortunately, we do have to pay the price, or we're lumped in with this. It affects us. It's not just one multi-million-dollar company.
Right.
It's hundreds of thousands of people who are enjoying their lives.
Right.
So sort of going back to what I was saying here, CPSC is targeting a component of the PEV industry. That component is Future Motion, who makes the one wheel. It's not the one wheel directly, right? If it was the one wheel directly, they'd be going after UCs. They'd be going after any self-balancing electric device. They'd be going after Segways, right?
Yeah.
They'd be going after those stupid Segway skate things. But anyway, so they're going after Future Motion right now.
Right.
They're not saying it. So
Yeah.
that leads me to believe the problem is not with the product, because again, they said nothing about it in that letter. The problem's with the manufacturer.
Yeah.
And that matches up with the experience I've had fixing these boards for as long as I have. Because
Yeah.
as newer models have come out and newer releases of those models have come out, more problems are becoming apparent.
It's
Yeah.
such a challenge, the fact that Future Motion has tied the name One Wheel so directly to everything that they do. But everyone else has referred to it like a skateboard. Like there's no skateboard company called Skateboard.
Right.
There's no snowboard
So
company called
there-
Snowboard.
There's an argument to be made there as well of what's public domain.
Yeah.
Right. So it's the goal of any inventor or any company to have your product be wildly successful. But there are, stipulations on that to where when you make something that is as successful as the one wheel has become, it sort of takes on a life of its own that you can't really control. Right. And that life is within your consumer base.
Yeah.
So yes, it's not ideal to no longer have complete control over that product that you've made. But the drawbacks of that is when you have that complete control and you are unable to sustain, the qualities that
quality
it needs
standards?
to be succeed
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
safe, that sets a precedent to where you're no longer able to control your product.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And
And
I
I
think
think
that we're
also-
getting to that stage.
And I think too, to your point about competition, is the way that you win. Once, yes, you invented something, it is wildly successful, everybody loves it. Now you have to win by making it
You
a
have to
better
prove it.
product than your
You
competition.
win by buying a Swagtron.
Yeah, dude, that shit's funny looking.
Yeah. So
Uh,
Future Motion has gotten complacent over the years. I don't think anybody would argue with that, right? So yes, they've released a new model, but they don't have to, innovate these great lengths to release a new competitive product to beat out anybody else, because there is nobody else, right?
And yeah, no, sorry, go ahead. You're
So
right.
since the days of the Plus, we've really only gotten two things from the board. We've gotten extra battery in the XR, and we've gotten a little bit more top speed in the GT. And that's over 5-6 years, roughly.
But also
right?
the potential for that speed was already in the XR, right?
Correct.
Like,
so,
so it's not
now
even-
we're getting into a legal conversation
Yeah.
of why that wasn't released, right? I
Yeah.
think that's separate from the issue.
I agree. I totally agree. But I'm just saying, this isn't even innovation. A speed increase is not innovation.
Correct.
Right?
There's
And the
no
battery,
technical innovation.
That's what I mean. Yeah. Okay.
It's the same as Apple's innovation.
Right.
Like I'm not gonna.
I'm agreeing with you that they're complacent.
yeah. So
There's not a lot. It's just it's
Complacent.
like unlocking what's already been there for a long time.
right, it's a business decision.
Yeah.
Right. So
Which makes sense from a business perspective.
right.
Like, I get it.
But
But
again,
it's
that
also-
complacency
But
is
you can't.
dangerous.
You
right?
cannot be the Apple of this industry with the kind of safety precautions. Like my phone is my phone. Like it's a computer at the base of things. Like Apple has its ecosystem. They do really well. That people love their product for a reason. This is a commuting thing that has like some serious. You can't combine board sports into something you can just make proprietary like this level.
Right.
It's impossible. Like there's
Well,
too many.
The stakes are higher too,
Yeah,
right?
right.
If your phone has some fault from the manufacturer, it's going to crash, it's going to shut down, and you're going to be mildly inconvenienced.
Right.
If you have the same problem on, an electric rideable, one wheel or not, your safety's at risk potentially.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, there are also, remember when Samsung's batteries were catching on fire in people's pockets and shit and burning down their cars and everything?
Right.
And it's like,
Thank you, CPSC, for fixing that.
Yeah, it's important, but
Yeah.
they didn't ban mobile phones.
They fixed the problem.
Yeah, and it's
So
it's such an interesting, the way that this is happening. I keep pointing over here because
I think all of us will
the
agree
way that
that-
this is happening.
Wow, I just blue screened.
Totally blue screen. Real quick, I want to
I
say
think
hi
all
in
of
the
us will
comments.
agree. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I want to say hi in the comments here. What's up with? Hey, Floaty joined us. Floaty McFly. Speaking of Floaty McFly and
First
some
man
other
to
things,
360 in XR.
I'm gonna take a
was
total
That
transition
was
here
fucking
because,
sweet.
hey, we've got Black Friday sale going on. I'm
Oh, yeah.
making promotions. Everyone here is wearing pushback gear except for our man Josh. He's wearing
me a
Midwest One Wheel.
sweatshirt.
They might have. Hey, we should check in and see if they have a Black Friday deal too, because that's a badass hoodie.
Dude,
like, I love
this
it.
is one of my favorite hoodies. I had Nico try and snipe me this guy.
They
This
got
is
the Windman
from, This is
Enduro?
from Windman Enduro.
Bro, those
It's the-
trails look
it's-
so fucking good.
It's so dope.
So I
it's
live
like a-
too far away from this.
It's like a 20-hour drive from here, and it's like technically one
Right.
state over. Yeah.
So I was, keeping up to date on Nico's social media when I saw the photos from Windman, and that is the event I should have gone to this year
Yeah.
above
It was only
any
like
other.
it's like
Every year
11
I'm like, I
hours,
should have
12
gone to
hours.
Dirt Surface. This year it was Windman.
yeah.
I wanted to go so badly.
Next year.
But anyway, Black Friday sale going on right now. 30% off everything in our store. So guys, we have new designs that just came out. Do we have do I have HDMI into this? Is there
I
screen?
don't think you do right now. I
Okay,
can
I
try
don't
to
know.
find it.
We had 4 inputs taken. Is yours computer going to the HDMI?
Mine is not going to the HDMI.
So is it this HDMI that's plugged
taking
in?
it probably.
Okay, because I
You
can
could
pull
just
these
tell
up.
them the-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Either way, let me
Tell
tell you.
them
If
the
you go to the
address.
website, right? So if you go to thepushbackarmy.com, you will see our Black Friday sale, 30% off, and you're going to see some new designs. One is the one I'm wearing right now. It is a Space Jam pushback design. We've got that in some really dope colors. We've got the Let Us Ride hoodie. So this is actually like just the perfect timing. I had Ori Rush, shout out Ori from Flight Fins.
Everybody
I
loves
had this concept for a new tattoo that I wanted, and I called it the True North design. And that's that center that you see with all the board sports happening. And then he helped me draw out the compass and everything. So shout out Ori helping me collab on that. And then I add the Let Us Ride banners just in the perfect time for this to come out. So this is less about the whole ride movement in general and just a timeless piece that's there. And then also it's got Christian's badass saying that he came up with on the side sleeve.
Is it Booyah?
It's Bones
I
Mend.
should make a Booyah shirt.
Yeah.
bro.
Full
We need
send.
Booyah merch.
I love it.
Yeah, Booyah merch. I'm down for that.
Dude, we've been talking about Booyah merch for a while now.
We could put it on the Sick Nasty, like get the Sick Nasty chested on and then Booyah down the sleeve.
My wife, I was telling my wife today, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go on the live stream because Josh Haley's coming down. And she's like, who's Josh Haley again? I'm like,
It's okay. Everyone says that.
but I was like, we give each other Booyah. She's like, oh, the Booyah guy.
Booyah
Booyah
guy.
She's like, I'll
Dude,
never.
I wouldn't
she's
be
like,
upset with the reputation.
she's like,
as the
I'll be
Booyah guy.
calling him Booyah guy for
I
the
love
rest
that.
of your life. So yeah.
So everything on the website, literally everything, 30% off. Summer collection, 30% off, even plus the sale.
Yep.
The Christian sweatshirt he's wearing right now, I think it's up there. It should be.
No, not this one.
Oh, okay.
This was a prototype.
Oh, prototype. If you like it, we could put it up on there, and it could be 30% off. You just have to let us know.
Dude, I like that.
All
If you
right.
like it, we'll put that one on there, the one that Christian's wearing currently.
But this
and
one's
have a
30%
Christian-worn
more
hoodie.
than anything
Yeah, but
else.
this one is subject to an even steeper discount because I'm gonna make it even more expensive.
It's more beautiful.
Even smells like Christian.
So anyway, check that out, guys. Black Friday sale. That'll probably be going on till, I'll say, like Tuesday next week. So you get a little
I
Cyber
have it
Monday.
up till the 9th, actually.
I don't have it with me.
Oh, okay.
It's back home. These are so soft. I love this sweatshirt.
Yeah?
Yes.
They're
Get
a
you
little
some.
fitted though, so like, if
That's not a bad thing.
I know. I try to warn everybody on the website there that if you do like a baggy hoodie though, get one size up because these are. I mean, I'm a curvaceous.
Also,
beauty.
does that have the hood print on the inside?
No, not this.
Not
one.
this one
That'll
specifically.
be. We're saving
that
those
nice
for the
silk hood
We're
liner.
saving those for the.
Season 3 premiere.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. We got some cool shit in the works for that, but it takes a lot more.
So that's our
Yeah, I mean-
shameless plug, shameless promo. Not announcing a giveaway for this week. We're just going to do this special episode talking about CPSC stuff. If you have any questions about this, let us know in the comments. We'll happily discuss it. Looking through the comments here real quick. Riding with Mao said, yeah, I see an e-skate world competition makes for better products all around and a far better experience for riders plus variety and choice. Absolutely 100% agreed. We need competition in this space. And then Road Rash Cast, I think it was more explained in the article than it wouldn't be so bad. There isn't any explanation on what makes them defective.
And it doesn't create a path forward either, right? So you'd think if you're addressing a problem with somebody that you would announce how to fix said problem.
Right, if you're going to complain about something, offer what you think is a solution.
yeah. Bring up
Or
a solution.
just
right?
literally,
Yeah.
literally put up something that says like, just stop using your $2,500 device, please.
Right, if you complain
don't
about
get any
it and
money
you
back.
don't give a
Yeah.
solution, you are no better than any of those Facebook chats. You are doing the same thing.
Yeah. I kind of agree with you there.
Like that just seems really dumb to be like, stop using this immediately.
Yeah.
No, you're not gonna get a refund.
Don't sell it or
Like,
donate
don't
it.
sell it. Don't do anything else. Like just stop. Dispose of it.
Yeah, plant it in your front yard.
So again, I'll pay for the labels. Everything. If you need to return your one wheel, we'll make sure the defects are taken care of. Right?
Billy Shredder here says Whalecat helps me with the vest. What's he say? Settings so much. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Whalecat has become like the go-to fucker dude around here.
Can we just call him that? The go-to fucker?
The go-to fucker dude.
Go to
yeah.
Fokker, man.
But he dived into this like so much, and he's so helpful. He loves it. It's like for the love, right? Like I'm not sure.
There's got to be people like that to advance it, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure how much he's like charging. I know he's gonna help me set mine up, and I'm gonna pay him to put it together and all that stuff. Like he's doing repair service stuff, but I know that like tuning and stuff, like he's just like all in, and he's really good at it. Like he's just his tunes have felt really, really good.
Yeah, dude. Whalecat's phenomenal. Shout out Whalecat. That's with
Jakeeb Whalecat Johnson.
Yep.
Nico Aleman says Fokker Cat.
Fokker
Fokker
Cat.
Cat.
Yeah, there you go.
I guess that's better than Cat Fokker.
Depends on.
Calm down there, Shane Dawson.
Whale Fokker. That sounds a little better. All right. So, and then looking at some of the other things, Riding with Matt, you said our submit your one wheel videos here link is broken. Oops. I'll look into it. No one ever submitted videos in there, so it might just like have expired.
It's broken because I got mad. No.
It's broken because I got pissed off because no one used it. Submit your one wheel videos. Just text them to me. Send them in the
Directly.
DM.
Yeah, and your phone number
419.
publicly is what?
It's 8675.
867-55309.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know my number
I do.
right off the bat. All right. Yeah, we'll look into that link or just remove it since no one uses it. People, especially if you DM us on Discord or if you DM us on Instagram, like we'll take those videos. We look at it. We're always looking for content to create for the reels and different stuff. So
Just send a VHS tape to this address.
Yeah.
Pull that off.
Yeah.
Get that edited.
and a VHS player with
That
the
too.
tape. Yeah. Dude, I like that you're here.
Dude, I'm so happy to be
we're
here.
all so happy.
I know.
I haven't seen you for a
Quick-
couple
quick-
weeks.
It's been way too long.
I've actually seen you more this year than I have in a long time.
This is the second time I've been back in Ohio this year.
Yeah.
For
I
anyone-
didn't know how much I missed driving through cornfields.
Dude, well, it's not the cornfields maybe for me, but it's where you land afterwards, where it's just like, dude, I
That
like
too.
it here. I mean, it sucks because it's cold, but it gets pretty sandy out here.
Yeah, it's not too bad. I think I'll probably end up putting like a freaking grawl jump down here or something in the
I'm gonna
winter.
hit my head on
Yeah, I
these
think you're the
beams.
only one that could do it.
Yeah.
I'm 5'4". So anyone who doesn't know Josh Haley as well, hanging out with us, I think everyone here knows Josh Haley. But Josh, give us like the 30-second intro, and we did look around for something for you to drop in. Like you did last
that was the
time.
first thing I looked in for. What I looked for was a place
Something to
just
fall
dropped
in.
We
into
could
the
have
scene,
we could have
yeah.
moved him over to the
ladder?
the ladder hole. I could have opened that hole and you could have just
dropped
fell
head
in.
first and just like cracked my skull.
Yeah,
on
crack
the
your head
rock.
on the concrete, and then I make sure to blame it on FM.
Yeah.
I noticed
Dude,
that down
the ladder ejected him.
Yeah.
Oh my God. We need to ban ladders.
Yes.
Sorry, that was really loud. I was
That
Yeah.
yelling.
So introduction. I work on One Wheels. I own Fiction Factory. It's a SLS affiliated repair shop located in New England. If you are in New England or near it and you have a PEV, even outside of One Wheel, that needs repair, modification, upgrade, I'm your guy. So I'm part of a repair network called E-Ride Repair. So there's about 20 of us across the country, and currently we service more PEVs than anybody else. So if you need anything done with your PEV, if you want your One Wheel checked out to see if it's safe to ride, take it to your E-Ride Repair shop. We're experienced enough to tell you if it's
Ejection
working or if there's a problem.
specialist.
Yeah,
it's-
ejection. That's our new title.
Ejection
We
You're
made
an
that up right
injection
now.
specialist.
I'm an ejection
You should be
specialist.
a retention specialist.
Dude, actually, speaking of, I'm going to try to find a video of you.
Which one?
Now, secondary introduction here. Who's this guy? Who's sitting here?
I don't know this man.
Me, my name's Christian. I go by Ghosty Socks online.
We should have done this at the beginning.
I have a handful of friends.
Welcome
out
to the
there
middle
in
of the
world.
stream. We do everything on one wheel time. This is actually when the stream starts.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah.
Everything before this was the intro, right?
Yeah. I actually have a lunch in 20 minutes I got to go to. So
Oh well, that sucks.
it's a business lunch for my business stuff.
business lunch for business
Big
things.
businessman here.
Yeah,
So
look at
Christian
this.
does all of the beautiful designs.
Not all of them. I do some of them.
Well, for the web especially though, like the way it's laid out and everything, people get a good.
yeah,
experience.
in my real life, I make websites. Well, actually, now I
Can you make mine?
yeah.
in his fake
I
life.
actually I manage a team who makes websites, but then in my personal life, I make websites for my friends.
I like that.
What about your imaginary life? What do you do in your imaginary life?
One wheels.
Whale cat?
Wow. hey, hey.
Why isn't he on this episode?
He needs to be here. We
Yeah,
should.
he
We should.
does.
You know, gosh, I love that guy.
Hit the whale cat button. Get in
Whale
here.
cat is one of my favorite people on the planet
love that
Earth,
man.
dude. I rode with him on the way back from Arkansas, and I was entertained the whole time. And he stayed at my Airbnb for like half the time. And
Same
I was,
bed?
dude. Well, no, actually, it was like bunk beds.
Oh, same bed.
We kept our stuff in the top bunk.
There you go.
No,
little team bonding.
Let's move on.
dude, that guy should be on the show for sure.
Yes.
He's fucking awesome.
I'd love to get more of our local people on, especially like talking with Travis about his insanity in building trails.
Yeah.
And
We
Whalecat,
definitely
of
need
course.
Travis back on.
Whalecat would be a great person to talk about just everything going on Fokker Vesk. Like,
Get
he'd be
Nico up here too. That'd
Yeah.
be a good episode.
Yeah,
Nico's been
he was
on,
He's been on.
Nico,
Yeah.
come back.
Yeah,
Come
Nico,
back on.
Nico, come back.
Do-do-do-do-do.
You can blame it all on me. And then we've got, of course, me. I'm Caleb. Hey, I do things. And then Taylor back there. He is
Hi.
our A++ producer.
A ++ producer.
I have to
Yes.
redact some statements.
Yes.
I
Yes.
called him a C+ producer, apparently.
And I apologize for it for 30 minutes, thinking I was the one who had said it because usually
Christian
it's
said
me.
he was going to take Nerf balls up the butt just for
I
calling
did.
him
I
a C+
said, yeah.
producer. So
The burger place.
I have no memory of this.
What is
When
this?
we got
Henry's
like
forehead.
when we got all those burgers for like
Oh, the bag of burgers. Yeah.
what is
I,
this?
I don't know.
Oh,
I
what was
thought-
the name of
Sorry,
that
I'm
restaurant?
sidetracked. I forget what it
That
was called,
blew our
but it was
minds.
crazy. We got like a sack of burgers.
No, it was called on the menu. Bag, of burgers.
Yeah, or cheeseburgers, and you had to add like 75
Yes.
cents if you wanted
Yes.
cheese on them. And we got like I think 25
Well,
hamburgers.
let's set the scene here.
Yeah.
So we're all at the Baker's PEV house
Sounds-
at
sounds-
FLF,
I don't know why I thought it was-
and right around the corner there's this restaurant of which I'm not remembering the name of,
I can't remember either.
and like half of it is a restaurant, the other half is like a convenience store. And I forget who made the suggestion to go over there. It might have been it might have been Brian, but we're all hungry and we look at the menu and just very conspicuously bag of burgers. I'm like, dude, we want that.
I would like to.
sounds
I would
like
like
a
your
good deal.
bag.
I
of
would like your
B.O.B.
bag of burgers, sir.
and at that price, I'll have two.
And
Yeah.
no, that's the best part. It was like what, $4 or $5?
It was $5
Was
for
it
like
actually-
6
Yeah.
burgers.
Was there
No,
actually
keep in
a
mind, it's not what-
bag?
They hand you a bag that contains burgers. They're not false
it was
advertising.
$6 for 5 burgers.
Yes.
Or $7 for 5 cheeseburgers.
Oh my gosh!
I think
that sounds
the-
You
really
have a better
tasty.
memory than I do.
I loved those burgers.
Yes.
Well,
no,
let's,
keep
They
in
were
mind,
let's be
delicious.
honest.
This is
You were
not-
probably
You know, I can't say on TV what was happening.
you were probably a little.
we were very hungry.
you were hungry.
We're hungry guys.
So I mean, you're getting
hungry.
you're getting the value of a $5 bag of burgers. They're not gourmet, but it's
I'm kinda
exactly what
interested.
we needed at that moment.
It was pretty awesome.
On task here, Nick Popa says Whalecat so much fun to ride with. Yes, he is. If you haven't met Whalecat, make sure you come to Float Life Fest next year, or maybe even Oak City. I know we got some Oak City stuff potentially happening.
Or just come
Shout out to Nico, literally writing vest
Nico
code right now.
Aleman, yeah. Nico Aleman's literally writing Vest right now, and he said he would be so down for a Fokker-focused episode. It might be really good. We could get like you
I
and,
wanna
and
be on for
Nico
that one.
come on, and then we could bring on
Jakey Whalecat.
we could bring back on or
Dude, you guys are giving me more reasons to want to move back here.
please move to
Do
Ohio.
You could
It's-
still service the eastern seaboard from
Yeah, I
here.
just got to drive, 700 miles every weekend.
No,
pick up, drop off
UPS has
boards.
to drive.
Dude, it is such a pain to ship
I
stuff
know,
right now.
dude. That's why I don't go anywhere that I can't drive to because fuck that.
Yep.
All right,
Shout
so
out
coming-
to pirate ship is the only thing keeping me sane right now.
Coming back over here real quick, like the CPSC is whole warning, right? What do you guys think? I want to hear from everybody's like opinion. What do you think?
Wait, hold on, we're distracted.
God damn it, Christian!
I'm sorry, dude.
That was a good drop.
It was a bad video. but
Sorry,
it's a good
camera's
job.
got
Christian,
Christian's got a camera roll out.
what are you doing, bro?
I was trying
Wait,
to show him something,
show
but I
Caleb
found
and
this
then don't
instead.
talk about it so
Yeah.
nobody knows what it is.
It doesn't look as gnarly as it was in real life.
That was
That's-
like 25.
That's
feet.
Yeah.
that's a
Shit's
gnarly
awesome.
drop.
It's a-
That's the kind of drop that
Put the
looks-
clip up on
like,
the screen, Taylor.
Send
I was
it
looking
to
for
me.
something else. I got distracted. I can't find the thing I wanted.
If
That's-
you're at FLF, you know what this drop was. It was at the top of Fireline.
That's the kind of clip that you look at and you can tell it's kind of steep, but when you're actually in
When you're
You're like,
person,
holy shit.
and you're like,
the
oh
thing
my
that he
gosh,
dropped
like-
off of, I would have to like reach up to touch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it was crazy.
The drop on the drop, yeah.
Yeah.
the drop on the drop,
The skip in the
the
drop.
panty
Holy
dropper.
shit. Guys, it's the topic we were talking about. So, CPSC. Let's get back
CPSC.
on it.
yeah.
Because the CPSC won't let me be.
So-
Here's my question, and here's what I want to bring around. Like we've got, it is 12:45, so we got about 15 minutes to kind of talk about this topic. Like,
Oh, let's go 2
Future-
hours.
I mean, we can keep going. Christian's got to balance. But,
I'm
Yeah.
here all day.
I
there's,
mean, I took the rest of the day off for you, but I have this
appreciate it.
one thing I have to do.
I see.
he'll come back.
But you
And
can
we
come
are
with me.
very, very
can come
off
with me.
task.
And so
Yeah,
can
too,
you.
yeah.
And so can you.
Yeah. What? Where are we going?
Lunch.
Down.
The
All right.
pizzeria.
Ooh.
The
Ooh.
pizzeria.
Oh, High on Fire?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's cool. Here's what I'd like to know. Like for everyone listening, what is immediate action, and where do we speculate action is going to be in like a week, a month? Like what do we need to do as one wheel riders to make sure our one wheels?
So, can I say what I'm doing on this?
Yeah.
So, we already talked about this before. There is a clear separation between Future Motion, the company, and One Wheel, the product.
Yeah.
Future Motion, the company, who, my opinion is the problem here, has put out a form for you to go, submit a survey to the CPSC saying, "Hey, protect One Wheel." In my opinion, I don't think that's the best route forward here. So I have gone to the CSPC directly and voiced my concerns because I don't want to be going through the avenue of what I believe is ultimately the problem, which is the practices that Future Motion goes forth. I'm not recommending you to do one thing or another. Again, this is just what I'm doing. Do your own due diligence, see how you feel about the situation, make sure you're properly informed, and then act accordingly. But that's the avenue that I've taken.
Seems pretty well thought out.
I
For
try
you
to think
personally?
things out, yeah.
I've never known that to be true.
What
Yeah,
I-
me either.
I'm always curious to see, like, here's my question, right? To bring competition in, that means we need to look at the patents, right? Like,
We're getting onto a very big iceberg right now.
big iceberg, right?
Yes.
I'm just, I don't know anything about patents
Okay.
when it comes down to it, so I have no idea what this looks like.
There's 2 types.
Okay.
You have a design patent,
Okay.
and you have a utility patent.
All
A
right.
design patent protects how things look, the aesthetics of a product or a IP that's protected. A utility patent covers how something works,
Okay.
right? The utility, the function of it. FM has, to my understanding, patents for both covering the one wheel. They have patents for the form factor of the device. They have patents for the foot pad. They have patents for the software, patents for the motor, all this different stuff. And when you're granted a patent, what that means is you're the only one who has access to that IP to produce, market, sell, and profit from it. The expense is you have to publish explicitly the IP that you're protecting to say nobody else can do exactly this, right?
Okay.
So outside of the realm of one wheel, there's all sorts of instances where people have made a competitive product to something that is patented by tweaking one little thing about the patent and saying it doesn't fall under that patent anymore. I don't know all the patents off the top of my head explicitly. I know there's a ton of them, but
They got a buttload.
right, that is a tactic that could be employed.
Okay.
Right, and I'm not a lawyer. I know nothing about the law other than what I'm able to Google. So this is just what I've found in my what I'm gonna loosely call research. But
What I want to know are things like the questions of like, all right, if there are patents that get granted to somebody, one, is there a way to challenge these patents?
yes,
2, is there a way to revoke said patent after it's been granted
So,
or take it away?
I'm not 100% certain on this, but I believe there is some clause in patent law for what you're describing, where it effectively becomes public domain, right? So, loose example, Henry Ford invented the car, right? If they came out tomorrow and said, we're going to try and seize the patent for cars, that shit's just not going to fly, right? Because it's within the public domain. So there's an argument to be made that these things are popular enough, PEVs as a whole, that the specific form factor of a one wheel is a component of public domain and therefore not exclusively patentable to one company,
Right.
right? So, again, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know if that's going to work. I can see the perspective of it, but I have no experience or idea of how to prove that out. But that's
Right.
at least the avenue that I would be looking in if I was on the legal side to sort of try and make
Yeah,
FM move into the public
I
domain?
think over the next 6 to 12 months or 24 months, as all of this stuff conspires, all these things happen, as more things get revealed, as they release another letter that we're either very happy about or very upset about, regardless, to bring competition in, those are the things that need to
Right.
occur.
The problem is not with the device. It's not with the form factor of the device. It's with the manufacturer that chooses how they handle, manufacturing, distributing, and supporting, especially that device. Right. So the example that I made on Louis Rossman's channel is, take this exact letter, swap out every instance of the word one wheel with motorcycle. Right. There's no one manufacturer of motorcycle, so they don't have the complacency to make the product extremely cheap and to gouge margins and potentially, infringe upon safety of the user. Right.
Yeah.
Because there's competition in the market that prevents them from doing that. Right. If I make a cheaper bike and I'm Honda, then Suzuki or someone can use that room to innovate to make a competitive product, right? That is healthy for an open market.
Gotcha. All right, and Nick Popa just chimed into the comment saying patents have, I believe, a 10 to 15-year time frame where they are exclusive. After that, it's public domain.
Yes, that is also a thing. Patents do expire.
Okay. So, and obviously if it can't renew or whatever, if it's been granted.
You can make an application to renew, right?
Okay.
You have to provide all these reasons to the government saying, hey, this is why we believe we should still have this thing. And you can do the same thing with trademarks, right?
Right.
So that's that. I don't know where to take this.
And I'm assuming they have the name trademarked and everything, One Wheel. Like, to me, that just seems like a poorly granted trademark. Like
it's like the Ohio State
koozies.
University trying to trademark the word the.
Koozies, right? Koozies have become a thing that is known as a slap rap. Technically, koozie is a brand. If I call it a koozie, I am technically infringing on trademark.
Same with Kleenex.
Kleenex, right? Everyone calls it a Kleenex
Band-Aid.
because that's what it is. Those are both kind of made up words, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely.
Koozie, Kleenex, One Wheel. They didn't invent the word wheel. They didn't.
So again, this bleeds into the argument of does it move into public domain, right? Band-Aid is another example, right? Mm-hmm. You don't say go get a self-adhesive bandage or whatever the general term is for it. It has moved into the public domain, and I believe off the top of my head that is now no longer patentable because A, the patents have expired and they haven't been able to renew because it's within public domain.
Gotcha.
They still own the brand name Band-Aid, though. Band-Aid
I
does.
believe so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Just like
they
Kleenex.
would- yeah.
Yeah. But I still call my automobile a Henry Ford. I'm going to go get my Ford.
Go get your Henry Ford,
Mm-hmm.
even if it's like a Toyota or something.
It's a Nissan.
Okay.
But,
Gotcha.
Yeah. No, I don't really do that, but I should from now on.
There you go.
So call it an auto.
Obviously, there's not a lot of news developed over this thing or anything. And right now, we're just kind of gathering opinions from the
Literally
community.
everything we're saying is speculation because we're not the
Also-
CSPC and
Right.
we're not Future Motion.
So
And we're
looking at,
not lawyers, and we're not. Yeah.
We're just
stupid.
we're just a bunch of dudes drinking energy
We're just
drinks
watching
and-
two different people have a dick measuring contest, and we're wondering how it affects.
That's
But
an
them.
also,
extremely correct statement.
So in Jake Leary's video, I believe this is where he had seen it, where in Future Motion's response, like the official one, where they were saying out of the 100 million miles of boards that have been driven, there were 0 errors.
Okay, what's the testing procedure? I would love to know what happens when a board shows up to FM. The thing that drives me nuts about FM is when you get your board, or when you send your board back and it either comes back repaired or doesn't repaired, the only thing they tell you is it does not meet specifications or it meets specifications. What the hell is your criteria? Right, I have a full testing procedure, and I'll be as open as possible with what I do to make sure our board is working properly, right? And I communicate that with whoever sends me their board to fix, because it's their right to know how the product they own is operating.
Yeah.
Right.
0 malfunctions.
Future Motion doesn't do that. Again, I can go to any EUC manufacturer right now. If I blow a motor, I can buy a motor, right? If I blow a mainboard, I can buy a mainboard, right? If I have technical questions about a device that I'm repairing, I go straight to the manufacturer and I can get the information I need. I can't do that with Future Motion, right? That is part of the problem we're dealing with here and why that exists, in my opinion.
Well, it's like, I mean, vehicles in themselves, like safety recalls and all that different stuff, like they have to reveal these things to repair shops. They have to give these procedures. They have to
Right.
But
Again, I don't work at the CPSC. I don't know the legal definitions of what constitutes a recall. I know in every instance I've heard of an automotive recall, hey, this is what went wrong. This is how it goes wrong. This is how the manufacturer fixed it, and this is how you can get your specific product fixed. Let's contrast that with what happened with the GT. Hey, there's a problem with the foot pads. Enter your serial number, and we send you a new one that's fixed. What was changed? What was fixed? What problem did you guys find, right? None of this is known to anybody except people within Future Motion. And this is a component of the overarching problem Future Motion is complacent in.
And you also can't gather any of that data off of diagnostics. Like you can click send diagnostics to
They
Future
even,
you
they even
can send
cut
FM
more,
all the
yeah.
data off the board you want. You're never going to know what the hell
And
it is.
then they even cut more information out of the diagnostics that you can get on your app. You know what I mean?
Start
Like,
spitting on the floor, dude. You're pissing me off.
dude, it's just
Hey.
don't.
mopping it. Ejection on the floor.
Yes.
All I'm saying is there's a lot of problems, and I think, just like I said earlier,
Right.
like you shit in your bed and then you have to sleep in it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, like you've invited me over to your house as well, so that's
Yeah, this is a physical product with physical components that wear out and are legally classified as such. Those are defined to be replaceable by the end user. That had not happened until FM decided to pivot 180 and we're going to start releasing tires, right? But the
And when they
existence
did-
of this letter brings into question if they really ever wanted to do that themselves or if their
if it
hand
was
was
being
forced.
forced, yeah. And I mean, even moving from like a standard automotive wire harness to a proprietary, like, and then not selling it.
Right.
Like, what the fuck, dude?
And this just sets a dangerous precedent again. I
And they're
keep
like,
saying this over and
don't
over
tamper
again.
with your battery. Well, then give me a fucking battery. Like,
Yeah.
like if you don't think I'm capable, I mean, sell me anyway.
All
whatever.
this culminates into the question of, do you really own the things that you buy, right? This wasn't a problem in like the 60s or whatever. Like
Yeah.
if your car blew a spark plug, you could go
You got
get
the
one that
well,
You
it's
day.
got
like-
the fucking document, bro.
Right.
It's
You
like
had a full manual to replace it. You knew
Yeah.
how to do it yourself. And if not, the resources were made available for you to do so.
It feels a little bit like when you buy a digital video game and technically you're just buying a license to it that can expire whenever they choose to expire it. And so like
Infuriating.
it feels that way a little bit with this, where did I just buy a license to ride a one wheel instead of buy a one wheel? You know, like where it's
Right.
I don't know.
It's not that much farther for FM to, I have no suspicion that they're going to do this, and I pray to God that they don't. But all of a sudden, an update comes out next week. Hey, it's $24.99 for
Per
your board
month,
to
yeah.
turn on.
That's the same. Oh yeah, dude,
month.
fucking Tesla, the same deal,
Yeah,
right? Like
I
you
mean-
can't like.
I mean, I hope that never happens. I think it'd be fucking stupid. But you can see where, like, in a few generations, like something like that could happen.
But you get
know.
no additional value out of that
Yeah.
as the user, right? That is
Right.
purely a business decision.
Yeah.
Heated seats in, what is it, Mercedes or BMW that now go to like a subscription model, same exact problem.
Is that
Right?
real?
The hardware's there. You have to pay a subscription to use the heated seats.
Checking
in the
out,
car.
Listen, if that ever happens, I always tell people it takes 2 sets of kneecaps to right that wrong. Whose set of kneecaps are we taking first?
Interesting
I like it.
perspective. I will follow you on Instagram for updates.
in the comments, Shredwell G2 said that they don't tell you anything, and the new foot pads are horrible. Yeah, that again, it's sparse. It's all over the place. Floaty said Band-Aid is to Band-Aid as is
As
one
what is
wheel
to one
is
wheel?
to one wheel. Yeah.
PEV. Easy answer.
PEV. Okay, all right.
Right. Band-Aid is one product within the bandage category. One wheel is one product within the PEV category.
Right. Yeah. And then also, Shredwell G2 said, my 2015 Volkswagen GLI battery died. I couldn't change it. I needed a damn VIN-coated battery. Like, what the fuck?
DRM is the death of this industry.
Like, yeah, so there's... Yeah.
But once you've sold the product, you set the MSRP or whatever the hell to cover the cost of production, add a little bit of margin on there to make it worth your time, be done with it.
Mercedes is now asking for $1,200 a year subscription to open up the full potential. Yeah, so I this is subscription models are a dangerous territory.
Very.
Everyone's going into them, right? Coming in, like that's how companies want to profit, and people like subscriptions. Unfortunately, things like Netflix and Hulu have got us like, that's no big deal. Like, but now you look at it like cable used to cost what, like $80, $90 a month, but now you look at like your stack of subscriptions that you have all coming kind of from the same areas. 'cause
It's
Disney's
intentionally
doing it, Hulu's
confusing
doing
too.
it,
There's
and they're
no
like,
motivation for the manufacturer to make it easy to understand because your confusion on it is profitable to them.
right. So I think it's a very dangerous territory when we get into like these products like this. Like what happens when the one wheel GT Plus comes out and it's 27 miles an hour, all these specs and different stuff, but you have to pay like this to unlock it. Like
Easy transition for me. I'm going full Vesk.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
dealing with that
That's what
shit.
I keep thinking. It's just like, but like the people that are working on like the fucker boards and stuff, they're like, they've been heroes of mine for a while, and I really think it's the actual future of the sport.
Yeah, so I'm trying to integrate myself more and more into that with a lot of capable people in this space.
Yeah.
Because I genuinely do believe it is the future of the sport here.
100%.
Because this DRM bullshit from FM is what's going to kill the company, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Right? So the difficult part about Vesk isn't making the board work. Like, since this revelation tune from Mitch a couple months ago, like, there's no question a Vesk is more powerful and capable than any FM board at this moment, right?
Yeah.
The increase in power band from the XR to the GT was like this, and then when I stepped on that Booyah board at Travis's place,
thing is fucking
it was
awesome.
like I was
Dude,
borrowing a
you're
GT.
the little one?
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
borrowing a GT from a friend of mine just to have one to get that little bit of extra speed. The day I got back, I'm like, dude, I don't need this anymore.
Yeah.
I got the Booyah board. It's fantastic. That CBSP in that board was running faster than a GT and not by a little bit.
Yeah.
Dude, that thing
It was ridiculous.
snappy
That
as
hill
fuck.
that
Yeah.
Travis had, just zoop straight up.
Dude, it's so sweet. Like, and like, I'm looking forward to a time when something has enough to get me up that hill.
It's coming.
It's coming.
It's coming.
Yeah.
I
So-
gotta get down to Mario Cantino. Shout out Mario, by the way.
Mario, yeah, he's got them sick ass batteries.
I
he's
gotta
been
get down to his
building.
place. We're gonna be building some batteries.
Hey,
I'm
dude.
very
We gotta talk
excited for
that.
that.
We gotta talk
Yes.
about that because I
Yep.
want a good battery solution.
I'm excited to film my journey
Sure.
through the fucker stuff.
Yeah,
So I'm
all of us
intentionally-
are very excited about it.
I'm intentionally holding back on a lot of the Vesk stuff, like development-wise, because I want to be documenting how I learn it and make that public so other people can learn it, right? The value in Vesk isn't that it exists. Obviously, there's a component of that. The value in Vesk is making it simple so it's mass adoptable, right? That's my mission. That's what I'm trying to do right now.
Right. And it's obviously not there yet, and they're not advertising it as a finished product. They're not advertising, like.
You need to turn it from a project into a product, and there's a lot of work that goes into
And the
doing
cool
that.
thing, one of the challenges is that there are so many people working on it, but that's also the cool thing, right? Like
the value
like,
of the PEV space, specifically the one-wheel space, has always been seated in the community.
Yeah.
Right? So aftermarket batteries came from the community. Aftermarket rails, aftermarket anything that is not on FM's website came from the community.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
FM wouldn't exist.
In fact,
if
some
this
of the
community was
some
not
of the
here.
shit that's on FM's website came from the community,
did.
and they
Oh, yeah.
pretend like it didn't.
Oh yeah, that's a whole nother conversation.
And then
Jeff would have some things to say. About that.
you have a small team of people at FM who are quote unquote innovating on the software, but you have the entire population
Pioneering the sport forward.
of so it's like
Right.
I don't know.
Again,
whatever.
and I think this is a problem with a lot of companies who come in that think they can be the Apple of their industry.
Yeah.
Where here's the thing: I willingly agree to Apple's things because of easeability and workflow. However, I willingly know I'm being robbed of capability.
Yep.
I accept that consequence for the ease of use.
Have
of
you
things
heard the
that never
garden
happen.
analogy? So I use this every time I talk about this. So I back when I was in the phase of like, oh my God, I have a MacBook and I want to build a PC and do A, B, X, Y, Z. Apple is a garden, right? It is this nice, polished, perfectly trimmed place where you can do whatever Apple wants you to do in that space. The second you start butting up against those walls, it turns into a prison, right? So if you're perfectly fine and happy existing within the walls of, FM and using the one wheel for a commuter, anything mild or expected of the device rationally, that's fine. The second you want to start pushing those bounds and, oh my God, Travis is making a 25-foot kicker and we want to jump it, right?
Right.
You're now getting into the territory of, manufacturer doesn't want you to do that. And not only is it something that is difficult to do, the manufacturer is going to actively work against you to try and do it.
Well, and they're trying to
Aftermarket
protect you
batteries.
from yourself, but I don't need
Yes.
protection from myself.
Right, and if
yeah.
so,
Some
this
people
is
do.
Like, this is a
Some
very
people
big
do.
core of this
Yeah.
problem. If that's a decision you, the consumer, want to make, you are free to make that
Yeah.
decision.
Yeah.
Which
But you are
unfortunately-
foregoing all of the liability, or you are taking on all the liability that the manufacturer was then holding. Right,
Which
And there-
unfortunately for Future Motion, there's a majority of the people who want to push past those limits.
Right,
They are
and
PC
so
builders.
This is one of the things that sets Future Motion apart from any other, PEV manufacturer. Right, I can go out buy a Cali board or like a LaCroix. That's an extremely powerful device that is many times over more powerful than a one wheel. But you don't see the problems that one wheel has with the board cutting out. Obviously, there's physical differences because it's not balancing and that type of thing. But the user knows what they're getting into. They are informed on how to ride that thing safely, and they react accordingly. overwhelming majority of the time. Because the one wheel is marketed so generally, right? They want to reach a wider audience. The
Bunch of
problem
kids
of
riding
having
and
a informed consumer becomes exacerbated as you scale up. That's just a natural problem you're going to have. That's what happens when you go from being in a niche industry to being more generally applicable.
But they're not going after the commuter. Like, I mean, they're trying to in some case, but then they have things like Race for the Rail, and then they
but look at their general
all
marketing.
of their general marketing is pushed towards
Children.
So they're
and,
wanting to take the
commuters.
general audience that they've built up for the past 7 years to that extreme level sport, right? But they're not giving the avenue for how to do it, right? So they're wanting to take you that level of, oh, you can ride this thing on trails and you can do jumps and here's this cool racing league for how you do it. But if you actually want to do it in this specific way we don't like, you're not allowed. Right.
Also avoids a
And
warranty.
I was gonna say it avoids the warranty as well. Yeah.
Right. So
The-
not
just-
allowed has a lot of
Yeah.
action items on what you can do there.
Racing in their own race voids the
Oh wait,
warranty
you
of all
want to
those
add?
sports,
Wait, you
so.
want to add your own parts into this thing? No, you can't do that. Actually.
Why can't you do that? Oh, it's because we don't like that. But we're not going to
We
tell
need
you
your
that.
safety.
Yeah,
actually,
it's for your safety.
It's for your
That's
safety.
right.
Yeah. We don't want wang burns.
But also here's all these, problems with the device and how it's matured over the years that are completely out of your control that can put you at risk.
Yeah.
But it's for your safety.
All right, we have a timely lunch happening. It's 1:06 p.m.
We'll be back after lunch break.
I know Christian's got to get on and go to a lunch. I think we're gonna join
see
in.
what's
So we're gonna kill the stream for now. I think we're gonna come back and have an episode though with some Josh Haley conversation, and we'll see what happens
This
here.
is very fun. I very much enjoy this.
So we'll cue that outro track. People, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for the fives of listeners.
Wait, hold
Hey,
on.
we had
Fives of listeners.
15.
Wangbirn.
We had 15 listeners at once.
We
What are
had
we waiting
15.
for?
If we would have,
Hold on,
if we would have
I gotta
changed,
put a booyah in chat.
if we would have changed the
Booyah.
title
Can I get
to
two
something
booyahs?
CPSC, we would have had hundreds.
Hundreds. I'm
of
sorry.
listeners.
I'm a C+ editor. I'm sorry. I should have put that in the title.
It's
Hey,
okay.
you're A+ to me. Too.
You're A+ to us.
I have no comment about your skill level. I think you're a beautiful man.
Cue the outro track.
Hey, I think it's our bag's going to be up in the top bunk next time, Christian.
Hey, whatever, man. I'll try anything twice to make sure I hated it the first time.
Can I get that on a sleeve for
Booyah!
sure?
Yeah.
We need a shirt that has Wangburn. We need a shirt that has Booyah. Booyah, Wangburn, Sick Nasty.
Can we just get all these down the back of one shirt?
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
have the mug. We just need to make the shirt now.
What is that?
Oh, you
The
weren't
Get-
here for
the
that?
Get a Ranger- the
Oh,
Get a
I'll tell
Ranger
you about
mug.
that. I'll tell you about that.
Bye, everyone.
Deuces.
Dude, I want to...